Okay, all right. So your maneuvers. The first one is going to be slow flight.
Yeah, flight maneuvers.
Okay, so your slow flight, the way it's going to happen, there's a couple of ways to do it. All right. Basically, what we're trying to do is we're trying to fly the plane as slow as we can, right? So now we do the slowest possible speed that we could fly it at is the bottom of the white arc, right, with flaps, correct? Because flaps generate more lift. They generate more lift, so you could fly at slower speeds.
Bottom of white arc.
So you want to fly the bottom of a white arc, correct?
Yep. At
But we
full
want to
flaps.
at full flaps, but we want to keep it. We don't want to flirt with the bottom of the white arc. Maybe 5 miles an hour above it, 5 to 8 miles an hour above it is fair.
Okay.
Sounds good. Now, some people they like to slow it down. So before, actually, let me say this: before every maneuver, you're going to do a pre-maneuver checklist. All right. Now, the pre-maneuver checklist includes the clearing turns, and in your aircraft, it's going to be the fuel pump comes on, and the mixture as required. All right. But for your case as a student, it's always mixture full rich, for now. Now, so our objective is to slow the plane down to the bottom of the white arc, right? Some people like to bring the power back, put in the flaps, and then put the power up. All right? I want you to do it better like this. I want you to do it. When we cruise around, we cruise around like 2100, 2200 RPM, right? Now, 2100 and the 2000 will give us like a slow cruise, but still we're comfortable in the air. I want you to start right around that slow cruise, and then put the flaps in one at a time. All right, and note the change of attitude in the plane when you put the flaps in. I don't want you to yank them all in, even though you can do that, but it's super uncomfortable. All right, and it's just jerky for no reason. If you just put them all in, you'll note because the drag that the flaps create is automatically going to slow the plane down.
Okay.
All right.
So first part after.
So begin with a slow cruise, with a slow cruise speed. Anywhere from let's say 2100 to 2250 on the RPM, right? Given the day that we're in.
Okay.
All right. And that would automatically put you in the white arc. Now you're not
Mm-hmm. You're not too fast to employ flaps.
Yeah. So you could, you're in the white arc. Also, one thing, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned this first. I want you to level off, and I want you to be leveled off. I want you to be leveled off before you begin the maneuver. So let's assume that you were high, right? And I told you we were 2,500 feet. I told you, hey, descend to 2,000. There's traffic floating around here, right? And then you come down to 2,000, and then you level off, right? And then I tell you, give me slow flight, like, and you're going boom boom, right? And you slide into the 2,000, and then, all right, that's 2,100, and then boom boom, the flap. No, I don't want that. I want you to bring it down. Let the plane, settle down, because you're gonna have some momentum coming in, right? And you want to know where the RPM is going to be after the momentum, okay? And you want to know where the airspeed is going to be after the momentum, and that's when you begin your maneuver. So straight and level flight, okay? Unaccelerated, straight and level flight.
Okay.
All right. Then it's simple maneuver. All you got to do is just put the flaps in, okay? One at a time. Do not jerk the plane, please. Nice and smoothly put the flaps in. Note where the airspeed is, and put it from the 5 to 8 miles an hour above the bottom of the white arc. All right. If you're too slow, put some power in. All right. If you're too fast, pull some power out. Note that if you're too slow and you put some power in, you're gonna have to hold the nose down. And if you're too fast, you pull some power out, you might have to hold the nose up a little bit. Do not change altitude. It's super important that you maintain the same altitude, because if you try to go into slow flight and you're starting to descend and you're chasing, and you don't know that even a 50 to 100 feet per minute descent is going to throw you off of your airspeed. So you're going to be pulling the power out, but you're like, well, I'm not slowing down. It's because you're descending, okay? So altitude is super important here, all right? Then normally we're going to ask you to make turns, all right? I like my turns right around 5 degrees. Okay? No more than 10 for sure. Why? Because as we know, what turns the plane is going to be the force of lift, right? Now we're barely creating any lift to maintain that altitude. So now we're asking that lift to also turn us. So you need to produce a little more lift for that. All right? But the way I like to do it, since you're so slow, is to not complicate things. I don't want you to bank this much, maintain the 60, and have to put almost full power in. No, just a slight bank, even the slightest bank. Like if you just hold that, it's going to turn. It's going to be a slow turn, but it will turn. But anyways, you're in slow flight, so there's no need for any fast turns. Good?
Good.
All right. Now to recover from slow flight, so you'll do right and left turns, and after that, I want you to recover from slow flight, correct? So what's the opposite of slow?
Fast.
Fast. All right. Now I don't want you to jam the power all the way in. All right. But I want a little power in order for us to increase our airspeed. So if you're floating right around the 2,000 RPM, all right, all you gotta do is just nudge it up. There's no reason, for okay. Even though some people, will practice it like that. I just want a little, like a handsome, like maybe 200 or 300 RPM in, and make sure. Remember, when you put the RPM in, you're speeding up. The plane wants to go up, right? Just make sure you hold it down. Make sure you just hold it at that altitude, and then just remove one flap. Okay. When you remove the flaps, you might want to sink a little bit. All right, in the beginning, especially the first one. All right, just remove the flap and then look at your airspeed indicator. You'll note an increase in airspeed because there's less drag from that flap. Okay.
Okay.
And then you do the same thing for the rest of them. So after it settles in, after the plane settles in, after that flap, remove the other one, and then remove the other one. And then after you're clean with the flaps, you could put your power back to whatever your cruise was. Now, one thing I want to mention. Now when we are flying around, let's assume today black is white, eh? So you have a green arc and a white arc, right?
Yeah, they all mean something based on the manufacturer's specifications for the plane, the speeds.
There's a normal operating range, the white one. There's a flap operating range. So we can't put in flaps if we're over here.
Right.
Right? And if we're underneath here, we're stalling. If we're underneath the green with no flaps, we're stalling. All right. When you initially put in the power for recovery, you'll be, so let's say we're doing +5 or +8, correct? And let's say it puts us right here. The +5 or +8 puts us right here. And then you add the power, right? Just give it a second so it can jump into the green.
Right.
All right? That way when you're removing flaps, you're not going to stall. All right? It's automatically going to happen, but just know,
make sure.
You want to internalize that. Like,
Yes.
I'm removing flaps, I'm in the green. All right? Okay. So that's your slow flip.
Okay.
Okay, so how I want you to chair fly it, I want you to sit down in a chair. Okay, I'm 2200 RPM. P maneuver checklist. Okay, I'll put my fuel pump on, my landing light on. Clearing turns. All right, I'm 2100. I'm in the green. I'm in the white. Okay, here goes 1 flap. Boom. 2 flap. Boom. 3 flap. Good. All right, I'm noting my airspeed. It should fall right where you want it. Okay, in this aircraft. If it goes slow, put up. If it's too fast, pull out a little bit. Turns, 5-degree bank either way.
Okay.
All right. Boom, I made my turns. All right, to recover, let me give it some power. All right, it's in the green. I'm in the green. Let me remove 1 flap. All right, it wants to sink. Let me just hold it up. Okay, wait up. Okay, I'm in the green. I'm increasing airspeed. Another flap. Another flap. I'm clean right now. Let me put the power back to normal cruise.
Okay.
Good?
Yes, sir.
All right, next we're going to do is the power on stall. All right. Now, me and you did the full power on stall, right?
Yes, sir.
And we noticed how if we put full power on, we're just you know, and
Took
it's
a
gonna
long
take us.
time, and you climbed like 500 feet like that.
Yeah, and we're not looking for that. We're just looking to demonstrate that we understand what it means to stall like this. Okay, we're basically simulating that we took off the runway and we ripped off the runway, and hey, maybe you got a little nervous. Maybe you were just talking to a friend, and then instead of flying, our, let's say it was 80 miles an hour is our VY. I was talking to a friend, boom, and I pulled up, and then I pitched up too much to where I'm exceeding my critical angle of attack and I'm creating a stall. So now I need to reduce my angle of attack by bringing the nose back down, correct? By pitching down. I'm tapped out on the power.
Power's up,
So-
reduced angle of attack.
So I'm just So I could normally use the power to reduce angle of attack as well, but I don't have that power. So the only method I have is to pitch down. How I want you to do this maneuver is, again, your pre-maneuver checklist, your clearing turns. All right.
Okay, pre-maneuver checklist.
Uh-huh.
Mixture full reg, fuel pump on, landing light on.
Yes, sir. And then clearing turns. Did you say
Clearing
clearing turns?
turns.
Yeah. Now, you're going. I want you to start this maneuver. It should be, we're simulating takeoff, right? A takeoff stall, correct?
Yes, sir.
I don't want you to slow down to rotation speed and do it, but slow down to VY. All right, which is right around 80. If you're floating around 21, 2200 RPM, you're probably 85, 90. That's a good speed to start. All right. When you do that, all I want you to do is just simulate. Say, all right, I'm rolling down the runway. Boom, full power. Don't apply the full power because we know what's going to happen. It's going to take us forever to stall. Just simulate. Say full power. All right, I'm rolling down the runway. I'm climbing out. I'm climbing out. I'm climbing out. Boom, and then I want you to announce stall.
Stall.
You say stall, and then I say reduce angle of attack. All right, and then you bring it down. You build your airspeed back to a proper airspeed, which is VY is a nice airspeed to go back to, and then either you level out and you finish the maneuver, or you say, okay, I'm gonna go back and climb again. All right, this is simulating that we have full power.
Okay.
All right.
So at VY, pull back, climb, announce stall
At the first indication of stall. At first indication.
at first indication. Reduce angle of attack by pitching down.
Yep. Normally, if you have excess power, the power will help you reduce angle of attack because you're basically creating your own new relative wind by flying through it, right? But we don't have that now because we're tapped out on power.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you pitch down, you get that airspeed, and then you'll say, okay, I was taking off, I stalled, I reduced angle of attack, I gained my airspeed, then I'm going to continue my climb, right? Or you say, all right, end of maneuver. Just level it out. Say that's a stall. That's the recovery. End of maneuver.
Once recover,
Either you continue to climb,
or say end of maneuver.
all right.
Okay.
Now, we're gonna do a power off stall now.
Okay.
Okay. Now for the power off stall, if you read the POH, I need you to read the POH if you haven't already. For the power off stall, it should be noted that the Pipers, they do not climb out with 3 notches of flaps, 3 degrees of flaps. I think that's 40 degrees. Okay. You can only do take off or climb out with 25. All right, because the 40 those extra flaps, I think it's not as efficient, to have all those 3 flaps in, and it's not going to climb as efficient. You're not going to get what you want out of it.
Okay.
All right, it's more strained than it is helping you. Okay, so this is how the power off stall is. Now the power off stall, we're simulating that we are stalling on landing, correct? Sometimes we'll come in, and if we flare too high, like level off over the runway too high, and then we're waiting for the runway, we got to keep the nose up, right? Because we got to land with the mains, correct? So we're keeping the nose up, keep the nose up. We're getting slower and slower. Where's the runway? Oh, the runway is not here. I'm stalling, you know. So now you have to recover from this. So this is what we're simulating when we're doing the power off stall. Now we come in, how I want you to do the power off stall. Again, pre-maneuver checklist and clearing turns. All right. Now we're basically setting up for landing. All right. I want you to set up for landing every time you do this. So you're going to do C-gumps. Okay. Carb heat, you'll check or you'll put it on. All right. Your gas, you'll make sure.
Right. So carb heat, put it on.
Check.
If there's no increase in power, shut it off.
Yeah. You're susceptible to carb heat ice, you know, not just in lower temperatures, but when there's like moisture in the air. That's when you want to leave it on. But if you turn it on and you're not getting, you know, if there was no evidence of carb heat, you could just shut it off. It will help us prepare for landing. Yeah. Note, and the Pipers, they're less susceptible to carb ice than the Cessnas are. Okay. So in the Pipers, you know, it's easy to do that. There was one more thing I wanted to say. I forgot when I remember.
For the carb heat?
Yeah, for the carb heat. I just can't remember. I can't remember. We'll get back to that.
Okay.
Okay. So check it or leave it on. You know, let's say we close it today. Okay. Then gas, you're good to go around, and you're on the higher tank. Oh yeah. When you're I want C-gumps when you get like clearance to land, or you know you're going to the runway. Okay. I don't want you to start setting up for landing and we're still in the downwind and they're telling you extend downwind, you're number 5. You know what I mean? There's no need to dirty up the plane, and we're still gonna go way down into Jersey, you know, and we're gonna go 4 miles that way just to come back another 4 miles this way, and the mile in the middle, so that's 10 miles. You know what I mean?
All right. So you don't want C-gumps until cleared for landing.
Correct. I don't want you to dirty up the plane until you're cleared to land.
Okay.
Okay. So that being said, gas good to go around, higher tank, undercarriage is fixed. It's always fixed with you guys. Mixture is best power or full rich around here. Power is set for landing. And switches and seatbelts on. Even though your seatbelt should be on, switches and seatbelts on. All right?
Yes, sir.
So we're going to do, back to this maneuver, we're going to do the pre-maneuver check, clearing turns, C-gumps, and then after that, I want you just to look outside. I want you to make a story out of this, okay? I want you to look outside. I want you to tell me, hey, there's my runway. It's right in front of me, okay? I'm making my runway. I'm coming in. I'm on final. Boom, here's one flap.
You want to narrate the flight?
Yeah. Because it will be easier for you to remember a story than you try to remember exactly what you're going to do. You know, as it, you know, like a procedure. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to introduce one flap, okay? Then after that, you say, okay, I'm going into my runway. I'm closer, another flap, all right? And then I'm going to make my runway, you know, here's the last flap, my last and final flap. So now we're at 3 notches of flaps, correct? Then I want you to say, okay, I'm going to make my runway, and I don't need the power. So I want you to idle the power, all right? Now, when I'm telling you I see my runway, I don't want you holding the nose up. I just want you to let the nose relax just a bit, and let her come down just a little bit, all right? Simulating that we're going to a runway.
Okay.
And then when you do that, idle the power, and then just tell me, hey, I'm right over my runway. Here's my flare. I'm leveling off. Flare. Boom. And then just wait for it. There's no need to send the nose all the way to heaven. Okay? Just wait for it. Leave it flat. Let the nose stay there. Hold the nose up. Let the tail drop.
Okay.
Okay? Now, in this aircraft, I noticed that you'll get the buffet probably before you get the horn or the light. So I'm looking just for the first indication, all right? When you feel the buffet, I want you to announce stall.
Okay.
All right? You'll reduce angle of attack by pitching down and applying full power.
Okay.
All right. Now, when you do that, after that's done, all right, I don't want you to pitch down to the ground. Why? Because what's right there?
The ground.
The ground's right there. So we just want to bring the nose down just a bit.
Bring the nose down enough to gain airspeed and
Yes.
then climb.
So we're going to pitch down full power, and then immediately your hand goes back to the flap. Remove one flap. Your hand goes back to your power to secure it.
Okay. Once full power, immediate. Removal. First flap. Okay.
All right. Then your hand goes back to the power.
Hand back to power.
All right. Then, you gain the airspeed. When you have proper airspeed, at least VX, you climb out. All right. Climb out while trying, and then when you start climbing out, you're going to start pitching for VY. And then take a look at your airspeed. Make sure you're in the green. If you're in the green, remove another flap. So, and I'm sorry, one more time. We're looking for a proper airspeed, and we're also looking for a positive rate of climb. All right?
Airspeed, green, positive. I didn't want to interrupt you. Positive rate of climb.
All right? And then your hand goes back to the power when you remove that flap. And then you look at it again. Your airspeed's increasing. It should be increasing. And make sure you have a positive rate of climb, and remove the other flap.
All right, make sure. Reduce angle attack, pitch down, full power, immediate removal, first flap, hand back to power, gain airspeed to VX, climb out, pitch for VY, airspeed in green, positive rate of climb, remove flap, and then we're going to repeat that until remove third flap. Okay.
All right? Then you remove it. When the flaps are clean, you could do one of two things. You could say, I'm climbing out to go around. Or you could just level the plane off, draw the power out, and just announce the maneuver is complete.
All right, once flap's clean, announce, go around.
Announce go around, or level out, draw the power out.
Or level.
Now, real life, you're going around.
Right.
When we're doing the maneuver,
you said level out.
And draw the power out.
And draw power out. What do you mean by draw power out?
Like you're full power right now, right?
Gotcha. Okay. So reduce power to cruise?
Yeah.
Okay. And announce end of maneuver.
Yep.
I can't write so fast. I'm doing my best.
You're good. I'll send you the video too.
Okay.
Good.
So far.
Now listen to this one. Where does it go back to the other page? You see where it says stall? The first on the power off stall. Power off stall where you're supposed to announce stall.
Power off stall. Simulate landing for stall. Pre-maneuver checklist. Set up for landing.
Next page.
Repeat. Narrate flight, first flap, second flight, third flap. Going to make runway, cut the power. Here's a flare. Let the drop. Look for buffet. Announce stall.
Okay. After that, what does it say after that?
Reduce angle of attack. Pitch down. Full power. Immediate removal. First flap.
Okay.
Hand back to power.
Full power. Where it says. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Say that one more time.
Look for buffet. Announce stall.
Next one.
Reduce angle of attack. Pitch down. Full power. Immediate removal. First flap. Hand back to power.
Okay. Starting from here, full power, immediate removal of flap. What is that? From there is the go around.
Announce go around then?
No, I mean, forget about the power off stall. That's basically a go around, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Do we understand that?
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna go through a go around right now.
Okay.
All right. So what's a go around? The go around is not necessarily we got to the stall.
Maybe I ballooned.
Maybe you ballooned, right?
A deer ran across the field. Any plane incursion on the runway, anything.
Anything. You could be even not. You don't have to be over the runway.
I don't like how it looks.
Oh, what?
I don't like.
You
how
don't
it
have
looks.
it like looks. Yeah. So you could be coming in. So what do? If you have proper airspeed, you can come back up. But if you don't have airspeed, you're going to reduce the angle of attack, apply the full power, right? But if you're coming on approach, let's say you normally approach at what speed?
80.
You approach at 80, so that means you're already good. You could just bring it up full power, remove that flap, and then keep it moving. You do you do whatever's after that.
Okay, so go around.
Go around.
Remove first notch of flap.
Full power.
Okay. Full power. Let me do it right. Full power.
Uh-huh.
Reverse. Remove first notch
A flap.
of flap.
And pitch for VY.
Pitch for VY, and then full power. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, go around. Full power. First flap.
Uh-huh.
Pitch for VY.
Hold on a second. Your hand, bring it back up to the
Back
power.
up to the power. Looking for positive rate
Right. And a healthy airspeed.
green airspeed, positive rate of climb.
Okay.
So observe. Positive green airspeed, positive rate of climb, and then remove second notch of flap, hand back to power.
Yep.
And then,
And then-
do that. Okay, observe again. In the green airspeed, still positive rate of climb. Go ahead, third notch of flap down, hand back to power, climb out. And
Climb out, swing it around, bring it back in, try it again. Oh, by the way, did you know there was a gear up yesterday in we went to Trenton Robbinsville?
Oh, what?
Somebody geared up a plane in Trenton Robbinsville yesterday when we went.
Landed with a gear up?
Mm-hmm.
Where you went yesterday.
Yeah, me and Josh, we went there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shut down the airfield for you for a couple hours?
I mean, we were leaving anyways. Somebody almost ran into us, but I'll tell you about that after this.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Hey, you can do that.
Yeah. What do you mean?
You can leave your gear up.
Oh yeah.
You just
okay.
need a lot more power to taxi.
Oh yeah. Tell it to the guy that was on the
Tell that
ground.
to his insurance company.
Yeah. It was an experimental, I think, too.
Wow. Well, so he built it himself and probably didn't. Did they insure them even? Experimentals?
They probably do. But anyways, let me do this. So that was the go around.
That was your fault.
Listen. So what do we got left? We have
Okay, hold on. Observe power, green, positive rate of climb. Climb times 2 till no flap. Okay. I think I have it.
all right alerts.
Alerts.
Okay,
Okay. Are you asking me or are you getting ready to tell me?
I'm telling you.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
ready.
Alerts. Now, when you have an emergency, a simulated engine failure, or an actual engine failure, this has to be like internalized. Okay. A is for airspeed. All right. Pitch best glide speed. All right. What's the best glide speed in your plane?
80.
Okay. L is for landing site. Now, those two, they have to stay solid. You have to be focused on, because if
Nothing else matters.
nothing, like those are what matters most. Okay. Then E is for emergency call. I want you to declare an emergency. Some people say, why declare an emergency if you could remedy it? I want you to declare the emergency. All right.
Emergency call.
Just call it. All right. Mayday, mayday. You know, if you don't know a frequency to call, just call 121.5. All right. Declare mayday, mayday. Give it somewhat of a position, and that way they know where to look for you. Okay.
Okay.
Then after that, R, restart altitude permitting. Now, if we're in the pattern floating around, we're not going to restart. Okay, we're just going
Because
to
we
go.
should be within glide slope of the glide of the
Glide
runway
distance
at all
of the
times in
runway.
pattern.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. A nice trick to know, by the way, is if you know how you have your wing like
Yeah, you
this,
said the wing. So you see the runway right off the tip of your wing.
right off the tip of your
Okay.
wing. That's
I
it. That's
remember you
it.
said that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So R, restart altitude permitting. I need you to build a flow. Okay. I'm gonna give you a flow right now. You ready for this? Now the flow. If you don't remember the flow, what do you have to do? You have to pull out a checklist.
Yeah.
All right.
So here's the restart flow. I'm writing that down on a separate restart flow. Okay.
All right. I want you to start from the bottom left, and I want you to change the fuel selector.
Change fuel.
Selector. All right.
Yep.
So if you just recently changed it and you had an engine failure, it's probably the fuel. All right. So put it back to where it was. If not, just change it. All right, just switch it over to the next one. Then I want your right hand to come up, and I want you to turn the carb heat on. Good.
Right hand turn on carb heat.
Carb heat on. Mixture full rich.
Third, mixture full rich.
Prop in, at least halfway. I'm sorry, not prop. Power.
Power. What do you mean? Pull.
If you were to short cruise, I want you to bring it a little bit more, like a slow cruise. Bring the power in a little bit more.
Bring power to half.
If it's not already,
Okay. Power. Bring to half.
at least. Primer in and locked, and fuel pump on. Now, if your propeller is windmilling, all right, if it's moving at all, I want you to try the different mags. So if you're on both, go to right.
If prop not seized.
I want you to say windmilling.
If prop. Okay. If prop windmilling. Try
The different mags.
both
Each mag individually.
mags. All right. Each individually.
Each mag individually.
Okay.
Okay. If it's not windmilling, I want you to attempt to start it with the starter.
Not windmill. Try starter. Okay.
All right.
Understood?
Now, if it doesn't start, we're going to keep going. The T,
Trees transponder.
7700. By the way, what's 7500?
Hold on. I have it on my t-shirt. 7500.
What's 7600?
7600 hijacked, right?
I think you have them reversed.
Okay, so 7500s I'm hijacked.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, fly with the F-14s, 7500. 7600 land wherever you want. Or no, 7600 is ignore ATC. Radio's not working.
There you go. All right, yeah.
Ignore ATC, and then 7700 is land wherever you want.
Right, exactly. Actually, wow, that's pretty good. And then you're going to go to the S, right?
Yes, switches. So
No, secure
secure.
seatbelts.
Okay.
Seatbelts, and don't forget to crack the door.
Crack door,
Mm-hmm.
and then shut everything down.
Yeah, that's part of the secure. So the idea behind shutting everything down is if you make your landing site, right, you don't want it to hiccup or to like start on you and there's no way out of it. Okay, so if you determine that the engine's done, just shut it down.
Shut
Fuel
down.
selector off.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, carb heat closed, mixture out, throttle out.
Aeronautical
Mags off.
decision making. We're going down. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else.
You can leave the master on, just turn the mags off, turn the fuel pump off.
Okay.
Okay. If you wanted to use the closer you got to the ground, if you remember to turn the master off, that's fine too.
The master on.
Yeah, because if you have radio communications with somebody, you're gonna still have right around 20 minutes to half an hour on the radios, maybe even more on your plane because you don't have that much equipment.
Okay.
Good. That was emergencies.
Okay.
What else do we got? Steep turns. Even though I can't really tell this to you, but like really can't. It's more something in the plane, but I'm gonna try to draw it out for you. Okay. So you have on your attitude indicator. Your attitude indicator looks like this, right? You have I think it's like this.
Dot line.
You have a dot there, right?
Yep. Dot
Okay,
line.
Thank
Yep.
you. I couldn't remember. All right. for you as a private pilot, you have to be able to turn the plane at 45 degrees, constant, okay? What I want you to do is the miniature airplane, I want you to turn it to the dotted line, and then I want you to look outside.
Mm-hmm.
All right? When you look outside, this is your cowling, right?
Yes.
Normally, on a normal day, your cowling is like this, and there's the horizon.
Yeah, there's a bolt, there's a rivet
Okay.
that I saw that I can see.
However you want to do it, okay? That's your horizon, that's your cowling, like let's say straight and level. When you're turning to the right, this is your horizon again. Your cowling should look something like this. I don't know exactly how it's going to look, but I think it's going to look lower on this way. All right? So you want to hold, you see how that angle is right there? You want to hold that in, all right? Whatever angle you determined after you turn to the 45 degrees. That way you don't have to look inside. You with me?
I am with you, yes.
Okay, then you turn it around. I don't want the nose to droop. I do not want the nose to droop down into the ground. All right, that you should know that you're going down to the ground. At the same time, I don't want the nose to go like that. When you're doing these steep turns, I want you to start it with a healthy airspeed. Right around 2400 RPM, whatever that gives you. Note that and let me know about it. And I want you to do the airspeeds at that. Why? Because you're turning, right? You're deflecting lift.
Yes.
So you need more lift in order to accommodate this turn.
So put the extra RPM in prior to starting the maneuver.
Put the extra RPM in prior to starting the maneuver.
Hold
Yes.
the plane level.
Yes.
And start.
I want you to start at 2300, 2400, and then if you need a little bit more power during the maneuver, that's fine.
Okay.
But start at 2300, 2400. Right a little bit under maneuvering speed.
Okay.
Okay? Now, when you do the other way, same thing on the other side, okay? The other side for you might seem a little bit bigger. There's more of the cowling above the horizon. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. But one of them
We
is
can
going to
look
look
at
like...
it.
Huh?
We can look at it
Yeah?
from my glasses, yeah.
Yeah. See. Actually, hold on. We'll look at that in a second.
sir.
So, because I want to be able to give him a shorter video. One of the sides is going to look higher than the other. And that's it. And then when you come, so you're banked, right? Now, the whole purpose is you got to be able to turn looking outside. I don't want you staring at that attitude indicator, but 90% outside, take a glimpse inside, make sure you're at 45. If you're not at 45, bring it to 45. If you're too much, bring it back. Now, if you start to spiral down, correct? I want you to come out of the turn. All right? And then just try it again.
Okay.
Okay? If you're descending too much, that means your lift upwards, there's not enough, and there's just too much on the vertical end, on the horizontal end. Right?
Okay.
So you got to bring some of that back to the vertical.
Okay.
All right? Good?
Yes.
Now, when you're turning. So I'm turning, and I started with you. I'm turning all the way here. I'm looking outside, and I want to, when am I going to start rolling out? Right when you come back into my vision. I'm going to start rolling out. I don't want this. And then I only look at you when I'm right there, and then boom, you snap the wings. You know, that's...
It's not necessary.
It's not necessary. Just look, because you're looking outside anyways. Just say, look up. Oh, it's coming to sight. I can start shallowing out. It will help you, because less time you have to be at that 45-degree bank. Right?
Sure.
That's steep turns. Now, that's it.
Okay.